Ever hear a story so strange you just had to tell everyone? Well, imagine living in ancient Rome and hearing tales of giant skeletons, kids born with the heads of dogs, and ghosts returning from the dead. These weren't just campfire stories. They were collected by a man named Phlegon of Tralles in a book he called the Book of Marvels. And today, we're diving deep into his world of the bizarre and the unbelievable. Phlegon lived in the 2nd century AD, under the reign of Emperor Hadrian. He was a freedman, an educated former slave, and he had a peculiar hobby, collecting paradoxa, or marvelous tales. Think of him as the original editor of a supermarket tabloid, but for the Roman Empire. His Book of Marvels was a compilation of stories that defied nature and logic, gathered from various sources across the lands. Unfortunately, most of his work is lost to time, but fragments survive, giving us a tantalizing glimpse into what fascinated and frightened the ancient world. Let's start with one of his most famous stories, the tale of Phlegon. Phlegon was a young woman from a good family who tragically died shortly after her marriage. 6 months later, a young guest named Mechitz was staying at her parents' home. One night, a woman secretly visited his room. They fell in love and met in secret for several nights. The girl even gave Mechitz a ring and a chestband. But one night, Phlegon's old nursemaid peeked into the room and saw her. She ran to tell the girl's parents, screaming that their daughter was alive. Her parents, skeptical but hopeful, rushed to the room the next morning, but the girl was gone. Mechitz, flustered, confessed everything. He showed them the ring and the band she had given him. Her parents recognized the items immediately. They were the very things their daughter had been buried with. They decided to watch the guest's room that night, and sure enough, the girl returned. As her parents burst in, overjoyed and crying, the girl's mood soured. She accused them of ruining her happiness, declaring she had been allowed to return for 3 nights by the will of the gods. But now she must return to her place among the dead. And with that, she collapsed, a corpse once more. The story caused a massive uproar. The town officials ordered the tomb to be opened. It was empty. Her body was later found back in the guest room. To prevent further chaos, they had her body burned outside the city walls. This tale of a returning lover is one of the earliest, most detailed accounts of a revenant, or what we might call a zombie or a vampire in Western literature. But Phlegon didn't just write about ghosts. He was also obsessed with monstrous births and strange anatomy. He tells of a woman who gave birth to a child with the head of an Anubis, the Egyptian jackal god. He describes a 2-headed baby, conjoined twins, and even hermaphrodites, individuals born with both male and female characteristics. To us, these are biological anomalies, but to the Romans, they were prodigious signs and omens from the gods, often foretelling disaster. Phlegon also recorded discoveries of giant bones. He mentions skeletons found that were said to belong to the heroes of the Trojan War. Now, we know these were likely the fossilized remains of prehistoric animals like mammoths, but without that scientific context, can you imagine unearthing a femur the size of a man? You'd probably think it belonged to a mythological giant, too. So, what was the point of all this? Was Phlegon just trying to scare people? Not exactly. The Book of Marvels fits into a genre of literature called paradoxography. These writers weren't necessarily creating fiction. They were reporting on things that were considered outside the normal course of nature. It was a form of entertainment, but it also reflected a genuine curiosity about the world and its limits. It shows us that people have always been fascinated by the unexplained, the monstrous, and the supernatural. Phlegon's work is a window into the anxieties and wonders of the Roman mind. So the next time you scroll past a bizarre headline, remember Phlegon of Tralles, the ancient master of the marvelous, who proved that our fascination with the strange is as old as civilization itself. Thanks for joining me on this journey into the ancient and weird. If you enjoyed this, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more dives into history's strangest stories. See you next time.